Hey everyone, welcome back to another Unbiased Magic Review, the place where you come to for your unbiased, honest magic reviews of magic that you care about, relevant magic. I'm not reviewing useless gimmicks that are going to end up in your bottom drawer. Today, I'm going to be reviewing for you guys a card effect by Bernardo Sedlacek, which is called Good Intuition. Let's take a look at the preview.
Hello guys, I'm Bernardo Sedlacek, and I'm very happy to share with you guys my thoughts about my own version of the triple intuition. Whenever you want, whenever you feel something, you just stop. What was your card?
Seven of spades.
The seven of spades.
Yeah.
Good intuition. Seven of spades. Yeah, and the seven of spades. Okay, now you So I'm not saying Danny DRT's version, I'm saying my own version, which uses only a normal deck of cards. And basically, three spectators select one card, they put it back in the middle in different positions. So now I have three cards, and just so everyone doesn't know exactly where are the cards, I cut a few times like this, and that's it. And now, of course, I could now just look for the card and say, this is your card, this is your card, this is your card, but I won't do this. You will do everything. Turn the card. Yes, it's but wait. Of course, I don't want to touch the card, so hand her the deck. Is it okay? And you had a favorite number, which was 7, 8? Yeah. Oh. Alright, it doesn't matter. Okay. I want you to deal 7 cards face up and stop at the number 8. Okay. And then they deal the cards one by one, and when they stop, it is exactly on their card. Wait, stop. If you choose another number, if you said 11 or if you said 18, she would be counting from a different point of the deck, so this would be a completely different card, right?
Yeah.
What was your card?
The Queen of Clubs.
Good intuition. Queen of Clubs.
What?
Of course, if you're going to buy this only for the magic itself, don't do it. Do it for everything else that I put inside, because I explain in the full details how do I do it, why do I do it, all the subtleties I put it, why the spectator thinks that way, why the spectator gets emotional that way. So everything else that you can not only use to this effect, but to any other kinds of magic you want. 6 cards face up and stop at the number 7.
Face up?
Face up, yeah. There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. That's the number 7. What was your card? Good intuition.
Okay, you've seen the preview and it looks incredible, but maybe you're still wondering what the effect is about. So in a nutshell, it's a card effect that's for 3 spectators all at the same time, where you have each spectator select a card, and then each card is lost back in the pack, and then each spectator uses their intuition to find their selection. So this is a variation on a Danny DRT's version that he called Triple Intuition. And Triple Intuition, I first learned it in the Spanish version. It was called Intuición Triple, and it was first published in Spanish. And that was a great effect, but it did rely on a stacked deck with a gimmick in it. And so this is Bernardo Sedlacek's attempt to make the effect gimmickless. Let's go over the specifics of it first, and then I'll tell you guys all my thoughts. So what are you gonna get? You're gonna get an instructional download, which is about an hour long. Price of this is $15. Personally, I think they probably should only charge about $5 for it. And in there, you're going to get 6 minutes of a full demo, which if you actually saw the full demo, then you probably wouldn't buy this. But you're going to get 6 minutes of a full demo, and then Bernardo Sedlacek goes over the explanation, which he spends about 13 minutes, and he rushes through it very quickly. It's not taught very well. You have to pay very close attention, or else you'll get lost even in his own explanation. And then after that, he goes over his own thoughts about the psychology behind it and the different things that can happen during it. That takes about 40 minutes, where he talks about all the different things that could happen by your spectators and what you can do about it. Kind of like a way of outs, so to speak, in a way. And so that takes quite a bit of time. It's about 40 minutes, and it's quite painful to watch all of that. And so that's pretty much what you're going to be getting with this. Now, Because I have the original Triple Intuition, I got really excited about this because Penguin Magic advertises this primarily as Impromptu and Slightless, which, you know, when you watch that trailer, it looks incredible. So, you know, anyone would jump at this. Unfortunately, the advertisement is very dishonest. So shame on you, Penguin Magic. Again, they've also provided you with another dishonest advertisement. And I'm going to tell you guys why. The primary things that they say is that, one, it's impromptu, which even though it starts sort of from a shuffled deck, you can't get right into it from a shuffled deck. You know, there is a stack that is involved, a small stack, so you have to cull some cards and you have to be able to do a pharaoh if you want to start it without having to set up the deck ahead of time. If you have to set up the deck ahead of time, you might as well just do the original Danny D'Ortiz version, which is so much cleaner anyway. So it's silly to me that they call it impromptu when you have to call cards and do a pharaoh before you even start. So that's unfortunately dishonest in their advertisement. The other thing that's very dishonest is they say it's quote unquote hands off and slightless, and it's neither of those. And the main reason is because depending on what your first spectator decides, you may have to move some cards. So again, it's a lot like those carded any numbers where they're not exactly as clean as you thought it was going to be. So this is not half as clean as you think it is, unfortunately. So there is what I would call a controlled force. So that's unfortunate that they do that, you know, because that's really sad. Now I'm gonna tell you guys some other things in there. So that's just the advertisement. So the advertising is dishonest. I'm amazed that there's so many professional magicians that actually endorse this product. There's a lot of people saying all these things. Unfortunately, I'm amazed by that because the original version of this effect is so much better. The presentation that he uses is poor. He basically just lifted Danny D'Ortiz's original presentation, except he didn't even, his is not even as good as the original. His presentation is horrible compared to Danny D'Ortiz's. He tries to emulate him and it doesn't come out good. And that's because you should never try to emulate somebody else. You should just try to be yourself. So that's really sad to see that. The other thing is that I don't think the handling is as hands-off and as clean as they try to advertise, which is sad because again, this is just Penguin Magic trying to take your money is what I'm thinking. And I'm going to give you guys examples of why. Now here's my explanation of why that is, because in the original Danny D'Ortiz version, each selection is returned in such a clean manner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to give you an idea of what I mean. Like, the first selection is returned like this, right? The cards can be put on the table like this. The second selection is returned like this. Again, the cards can be laid out on the table again. And then the third selection in the original version is returned like this. That is really how each selection is returned in the Danny D'Ortiz version, just as clean as I just showed you. In this version, unfortunately, the cards are in your hand and you have this little spread and, you know, it's returned like this. And then, you know, the cards never leave your hand, of course. The second selection is returned like this. Again, the cards never leave your hand. And then the third selection, okay, they make a selection and look, the cards never leave your hand. And then, okay, the cards are returned like that. So it doesn't look clean. It really doesn't. It doesn't look like the spectator could have put their cards anywhere they wanted, which that for me is a big no-go. That doesn't look good. It doesn't look hands-off, really. It really, unfortunately, doesn't look good at all. I mean, especially because I have spectators that when I give them a card and I tell them to put it back, you know, I'm not like doing this, like, you know, okay, here, put your card back here. That just doesn't look good at all. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. It looks so much better when you just go like this, here. You know what I mean? This just looks, and when you can do that afterwards, that really looks hands off, I mean, in my mind. So this version does not replace the original version. Unfortunately, this is a very poor attempt at a variation of the original version, which I think that the original version wasn't broken to start with, so there was no need to even try to do this. So other things that you may be interested to know is how difficult is it to perform it. You may find this difficult to perform because there is some things involved there. You have to be pretty good with cards in your hands. So it's not very easy to perform overall, especially if you want to make it look hands off. So that's something else to think about in terms of how difficult is to perform it, especially not just that, but the fact that things may not turn out the way you want them to, and you may have to move some cards. Ooh, that's not going to look good at all. Now, in the video explanation, Bernardo does go over the idea of what happens if you miss, like what happens if it doesn't turn out, like what happens if one of the selections is not in the place where you're supposed to be. And he's like, well, these are your friends, they won't care, right? And so my thoughts on that is like, what's the point of doing a card effect if it's not going to result favorably? If it's going to backfire you and it's not going to turn out the way you want it to, then what's the point? It just seems silly. And his excuse of that really is poor, unfortunately. It's just really weak. Has magic really come to this level? It's at this bottom level now. It's just unbelievable. So, if I were you guys, I would actually just check out Danny D'Ortiz's Triple Intuition, the original one. And I could tell you guys, yeah, there's a full deck stack. And the way that I've used it always is as an encore. So, after you're done doing your card set, you put your cards away, they want to see something else. Okay, I'll show you one more thing. You go in, instead of taking that, you take out the other deck. They're going to assume it's the same deck you've been using. At least that's what's always happened to me. And then you do the effect. And then afterwards, you put the cards away and you're done. It's an encore effect. This is a piece you should use as an encore. You can't really follow this up with anything else anyway. And so, who cares that they can't shuffle the cards before you start? No one's even going to notice that, especially if you use it as an encore. You just take the cards back out, you do your favorite false shuffle yourself before you start, and then you get right into it, and that's it. It just doesn't seem like they're just emphasizing the wrong points. They're trying to emphasize that this is totally impromptu, and unfortunately, it's not totally impromptu, and it's not hands-off, and I can't emphasize that enough. So, I was very disappointed with this effect. I'm sure you would be, if you picked this up too, you'd be very disappointed with it. And overall, my rating for this is 1 out of 5, which is the lowest rating I can give something. And the reason is because you're not going to use this, you'll be highly disappointed, and it just would be a total waste. So that's my opinion on this product. And that I hope that you guys enjoyed my review. I don't think there's anything else for me really to tell you guys about this. If you have any questions, just leave me a message. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to any feedback. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Just let me know in the comments below. We can talk about it. I have no problem with that. But you have to ask yourself this: does this really replace the original version? It doesn't. It doesn't even come close to it. So I really wish that they wouldn't meddle with things that already work perfectly fine the way they are. And again, it just makes me think that Penguin Magic is just trying to make money off of people. That's really what it is. They're really not trying to provide you with good magic. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for checking out the review.